Broadcast to All Americans, Part 3. September 23, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. So now comes the second wave, not of COVID-19, of confusion. How could a situation like this come about? How could a major world power be operated, in absentia, for 160 years, by foreign subcontractors, and nobody noticed? Obviously, the foreign subcontractors noticed and wasted no time in feathering their nests. Obviously, we noticed and saw through the veils of deceit, or we wouldn't be here. But as to how this came about, it's really pretty simple. In 1819, Virginia ratified the Titles of Nobility Amendment to the original federal Constitution, the Constitution for the United States of America, issued in 1787. This amendment, which appears as the 13th Amendment to that Constitution, put teeth into an already long-established prohibition against people in our government accepting titles from foreign governments, especially the British Monarchy. Under the Titles of Nobility Amendment, Tona bar attorneys who accept the title of Esquire are not allowed to hold any public office in the American federal government and would suffer various penalties if they did. Please note that Tona could not and did not prohibit attorneys' participation in the British territorial government operating under the Constitution of the United States of America, nor could it be applied to the Papist municipal government operating under the Constitution of the United States. In 1836, Abraham Lincoln was admitted to the bar, accepted the title of Esquire, and was allowed to practice international corporate law in Illinois. When he was offered as a presidential candidate in 1860, he could not qualify to run or act as President of the Federal Republic, because of the Titles of Nobility Act. So, in the best tradition of British guile, he ran for the office of President of the territorial government instead, President of the United States of America, acting under the Constitution of the United States of America, not President of the Federal Republic operating under the Constitution for the United States of America. This arrangement neatly avoided the consequences of Tona and outraged the Southern states, which saw it correctly as evasion of their constitution and emasculation of the presidency, making it little more than a running boy for the British king. Millions of Americans voting in the 1860 elections were blissfully unaware of this switcheroo and didn't notice the subtle change, so Lincoln and his British compatriots pulled off the scam, the South seceded, and the mercenary conflict began. The Civil War was never declared by any American Congress, nor was it ever ended by any peace treaty. An armistice was established following the surrender of Lee's army. President Andrew Johnson, who was not a lawyer and not a well-educated man, declared peace on the land via 3 public declarations. And that was that. From these facts we now know that the American Civil War was not a war, but a mercenary conflict like Vietnam. We also know that President Johnson had no legitimate basis to establish a peace treaty, so acted to create a contract, instead, still operating in the foreign British Territorial Commonwealth office as President of the United States of America following in Lincoln's footsteps. The Papist municipal government, which makes a large percentage of its money from enslaving people of all colors and trading upon their labor and other resources, sided with the South and lost. So, at the end of this vast illegal and immoral enterprise, the southern states lay in ruins, the northern state-of-state organizations were bankrupt, and nobody knew what was going on except the foreign British territorial contractors, who backed Lincoln in the first place, and who accomplished the sleight of hand that placed one of their barristers in de facto control of the federal government despite the Titles of Nobility Amendment. Ulysses S. Grant was a gifted natural soldier, but he wasn't educated in law or diplomacy, knew little to nothing about government outside the military, and his ineptitude and that of his appointees in all these regards provided ample opportunity for cronyism, graft, and abuse of power under color of law that has continued to this day. So that is how the rats got in the grain storage, via Lincoln's misrepresented election to a foreign federal office, that of the territorial presidency, instead of the presidency of the Federal Republic. How they've endeavored to stay in purloined power for 160 years is another story. Links to Anna's articles and resources can be found in the video description box. Thank you for subscribing, liking and sharing. If you enjoy having Anna's latest articles made into videos, please consider making a purchase from Ed's website sacredintuitiveelements.com. Thank you.